Hi guys, my name is Janaea Sanchez, and today I'm going to be doing my presentation on the procurements for the Indian Health Services. On this slide, I'm going to be talking about the introduction and background. So the Indian Health Services is an operating division within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. IHS is responsible for providing direct medical and public health services to members of federally recognized Native American tribes and Alaskan Native people. The reason I chose to evaluate IHS is because this is a government sector that we work with. At my current job right now, I work for a general contractor, and a lot of our projects come from IHS, so I kind of wanted to evaluate that process so I could get a better understanding of where they're coming from on their procurement methods. So the procurement methods that I will be evaluating in this presentation are the sealed bidding and the two-step sealed bidding. And these are both the procurements that IHS includes and what they use to send out their bids. So the procurement contracting is the principal way that IHS obtains the supplies and the services it needs to meet its objectives and perform its missions. So this will lead us into the next slide that will explain those methods and how these methods are used in projects that are currently being constructed. So on this slide, I'm going to be describing the procurement methods that IHS uses. They have first up the sealed bidding. So the sealed bidding is a contracting method that is used for competitive bids along with public opening of bids. So there's only two different contract types that may be used for the sealed bidding method, and these consist of the firm fixed price and the fixed price with the economic price adjustment. Later in this presentation, I will evaluate, but I want to make note that sealed bidding method typically deals with projects that are design bid build, while the two-step sealed bidding deals with projects that are design build. So what is the two-step sealed bidding? This is a method used to obtain competitive bids when the available specifications or any other documents describing the government's requirements are not adequate for a normal sealed bid process. Now I want to go over the two-step sealed bidding process. This method may be used when all of the following conditions are present. So I'm going to run through those and what is required. So if the available specifications or purchase descriptions are not definite or complete, this method will be used. Next, we have if the definite criteria exist for evaluating technical proposals. If more than one technical qualified source is expected to be available, if the sufficient time will be available for use of the two-step method, and then if a fixed firm price contract or a fixed price contract with economic price adjustments will be used. So this method, it has two different steps, and I want to go over some of those. So for the first step, this method involves issuing a request for technical proposals, which is known as an RTP. This request is announced in the CBD, and it requires the offeror submit only technical information, so no price estimates are required. All the proposals are evaluated against a set of established criteria and determined to be acceptable or unacceptable. So after that initial phase of submitting that information, clarifying information may be requested additionally, and then proposals may be reevaluated and determined to be acceptable or unacceptable. So before moving on to the second step, that first step, the contractor needs to be able to meet all those qualifications in order to bid the project. So moving to the second step, this consists of a formal sealed bidding process. It is limited to only those sources whose technical proposals were determined to be accepted in the first step. So this means that the contractor had to meet the specific qualifications in order to move on to this step. So even in order to bid it, that first step needed to be completed. And then the contractor will then submit a bid on their acceptable technical proposal, and then award is made to the lowest responsible and responsive bidder. So next we're going to talk about an RFP and an RFQ. So I work for a general contractor, and how this works is IHS will send out a project to a general contractor, and in their request they will have a request for proposal or request for quotation, and that's what those two words stand for. And we work for MATOC. So we work for a MATOC organization, which is these projects are sent out to small business owners. So I want to read what the qualification says. So this project will be procured under the current nationwide construction multiple award task award contract. So that's a MATOC. That is what we have. And it's 100% small business set aside. And this is solicitation under the North American Industrial Classification System. And it's for commercial and industrial building construction. So this association size standard for this procurement is $39.5 million. So the basic purpose of these RFP is to facilitate negotiations. So included in the RFP that is sent from IHS to the MATOC that we receive, they send documents such as specifications, they send scope of work, they send wage determinations, drawings, bid schedules. So how this works is a general contractor takes this information and then they source out subs in order to find people that could perform the work that's on the scope of work indicated. And then they will then make an estimate and put together a final bid proposal, and they will send this back to IHS in order to be awarded a project. Here we have an example project. So it's a site work for office modular building at White River. This project is actually located in Arizona. Today I sent out a bid for this project, and I hope, crossing my fingers, that we receive this project. However, this is an example of something that IHS sent us, and then this falls under the sealed bidding procurement method. So the way that this process works is we get these projects as a general contractor, we receive the RFP, and then we go through the scope of work and we find qualified subcontractors that want to bid on the scope of work. And then the general contractor will gather all of their proposals and put it together in an estimate and send out a proposal to IHS and hoping that we have an award. So describing the scope of work of this project, it encompasses structural demolition, earthwork, exterior improvement, site utilities, construction services. It's for a 14,000 square foot modular building. So what they want us to do is they want us to grade the property, get the foundation pad ready, and they're going to locate this 14,000 square foot building onto that pad. We have to take care of all of the site utilities, all of the concrete, demolition. So that's what this project consists of. Just a little background there. So the construction magnitude of this project is $1 million. The period of performance is 150 days. The contract type is design bid build, and then the market sector is government. So like I had mentioned before in the above slides, this contract type is a design bid build. So most of the projects that IHS sends are design bid build anytime that we use the sealed bidding procurement method. Most of these projects use this method. However, there are a few that are design build and that use the two-step method. Some of the projects that we are dealing with right now, we have a Zuni project and a Taos project. They're both replacement of boilers, and these projects are both the two-step method. So I'm excited to see how all of this and what I've learned from the procurement methods will impact how I'm going to be able to bid the projects further and have a better understanding on what IHS is requiring and what goes on behind the scenes. So the proposal for this project, it was a firm fixed price, and that's what they needed from us. They wanted us to include a price schedule for that. And reading some of the scope of work and the RFP, it included this little section where you see it's evaluating for this award will be based on the price in addition to the contract's compliance to the terms and conditions for the request for a proposal. So the contract's technical and past performance has been evaluated as part of the base MATOC award. So as I was explaining before, we are part of a MATOC, which is a small business set aside, and we are able to bid on these projects as a small business. And then if they send it to us, we have a chance of being awarded these. So crossing my fingers that this one gets awarded. So to summarize everything that we have just learned through this presentation, the procurements used by IHS are the two-step sealed bidding and the sealed bidding process methods. So the two-step sealed bidding, it's a two-phase process, as I've explained. This method typically is associated with the design build projects. And then the first phase to this process is sending in the qualifications that the contractor is required to have to bid on the project, and then the second phase is sending in your final price to be proposed for the scope. So you can't go without completing that first phase. If you pass all the qualifications as a contractor, then you could then move on to sending in a final bid. So the sealed bidding procurement method, this method skips that step where it's just a one-phase project process. You will just send in a final submission for your price. So as I've been explaining, we're part of the MATOC, and most of our projects are the design, bid, build. IHS is one of the government sectors that we work with. However, we also work with NPS, which is National Park Services, and this is another organization that sends us bids. We receive the RFPs and the RFQs, and then we then subcontract out our work and are then awarded the contract if we have the lowest bid. So yeah, these are pretty much the two different government sectors we work with, IHS and NPS, and both of them I would love to learn about the procurement methods that National Park Services deals with. I think this was very beneficial for me to go over and learn more about IHS and what it consists of, especially since I'm dealing with it on a daily basis of bidding different projects around the United States. I think this was a great assignment for me to get a better understanding of the whole process. It's good to know that on most of my design, bid, build projects, this consists of a sealed bidding process. It made a lot more sense after I evaluated some of the projects that I've been working with and see how that process works. Most of these projects are the fixed firm price that fall under the sealed bidding process, and I'm glad that I was able to make that connection between those. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation, and on the next slide are my references. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.